Hi, this is Pete Gear with Boca Voice, and I'm here today with Jim Batmasian and Don Anderson. And Jim started Boca Outreach, which is a not-for-profit here in Boca Raton, and Don Anderson is one of those people that were helped. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
So Don, tell us a little bit how Jim came into your life and how he started this whole program and why it was so impactful in your life.
Well, I came to Florida originally for rehab. I'd gotten off into drugs and alcohol and got really messed up. And so I was looking for a place to come to in Florida to kind of get out of Texas. And so I entered into Florida and got into a program, then got deeper into drugs and alcohol at that time for about 6 months after I got here. Then I came to a point to where there was nothing left. I'd gotten on crack for 4 months, was on the needle for a month. And ended up either homeless or dead. And
that's not so uncommon, right? People come down here to Boca Raton to basically get off of drugs and alcohol and wind up getting deeper into the problem.
Correct, that's correct. And so it came to a point to where I did not have the will to live. And God, out of His grace, pulled me out of a place and put me in a mental hospital for 5 days. And I went to a halfway house for a month, and while I was in that halfway house, a guy there told me that there's a gentleman, which referring to Jim, that gave jobs to people that were in need. And so I started taking the bus from that halfway house going down to that ministry, which is Love Boca Outreach Ministries. And I remember meeting Jim in the park, and I was desperate. I was looking for work.
Was this Sanborn Square?
No,
or?
it was over by by Pearl City.
Hughes Park.
Hughes Park. And I met him there, and he made a phone call, called a guy, and told him to put me to work. And so my sobriety date was October 26, 2014. And so from that point, I went to work for Jim. In that whole process, Jim has been a mentor for the last 3 years of my life. He not only did that, but he helped me get transportation, because I literally had nothing. I was at the end of my road, and I was very successful in Texas and lost it all. And I was at the bottom. And Jim helped me get a car. He helped me get a job. He helped me get started. I started as a security officer in a plaza, and then managed that plaza, and then from that point on, I began to move up in the company, and I'll kind of let Jim take that part of it. But it's been a blessing to be a part of a ministry. So I'd come down to that ministry, and I'd get food, I'd get clothing, I'd get the essentials to live, bus passes paid for. This is my first months of recovery, and without that help, I wouldn't be here today. Without Jim hiring me, I wouldn't be here today. It's all these pieces that came together in my life that had an effect in my life.
Now, how long ago was that?
This is, I started to work at Investments Limited in 2015 of December.
So it's 3 years ago.
3 years ago, and I've been clean for 40 months almost, clean from drugs.
God bless you.
So it's been a journey. It's been a journey. It's been good to work for Jim, because it's really got me discipline back in my life, which I had none when I was on drugs and alcohol. It was all about drugs, all about alcohol. Time to be at work, time to do your job, show up, put the extra effort in, and all those things that I did not have. And working for Jim and being at Investments Limited has made a big difference in my life, of getting structure in my life. There was no structure when I was on drugs and alcohol. And Love Boca Outreach Ministries was a major help on the front end of my life. And now I've been a volunteer there, helping out over the last 2 years. I work with Jim at Love Boca. I can't say enough about the support, the ongoing support, not just the support I had when it first started, but just the ongoing support of Jim at my job at Investments Limited, and in the rollover to LBOM and still being a part of that ministry with him.
So Jim, tell me what made you get so involved in this program with Love Boca?
Well, I saw it in a church bulletin at First United Methodist Church, and it said, call this number if you'd like to be of some assistance. And I did, and I was. And I find myself on Wednesday and Sunday going to showers and giving out food and giving out clothes and so forth. But I said there's got to be more than this. There's Boca Helping Hands that gives out food. There's other organizations that gives out things. But I want to give them an opportunity to challenge them to change their life, to get rid of the demons and come back into real society, okay, and get off the street. Not just giving them things which perpetuates their life on the street. So I actually got a real board of directors. We formed a real 501c3. We started taking in donations. We reached out to other community groups. And as a result of that, there was a luncheon meeting, a get-together for the homeless after church. And it happened to be at Hughes Park, right next to the housing project. And that's where I met Don. And he said that he was clean for 2 weeks or 2 months, that he used to manage a big construction company, but he had lost everything in life. He had no more wife, kids, grandkids. Everybody had kicked him out. And he was on his own, homeless. So I gave him a chance. And I said, show up for work tomorrow morning. Here's where you report. You're going to be a security guard at a nondescript shopping center that I owned up in Delray Beach. And lo and behold, he started managing the center and leasing the center and fixing it up and turning it around, all the things we like to do as a real estate owner. And I called him in. I gave him more properties. Fast forward 2 years, he's my head guy. We manage 4 million square feet, and all the property managers now look up to him. They respect him. I want to say they report to him. They work with him, but he's the senior, most respected guy of everybody we have.
That's an incredible success story. Now, Don, how did that make you feel? Literally, that was just December of 2015. Fast forward to December of 2018. That's a huge amount of responsibility.
It is. It's I've just committed to the process. I knew that getting clean would take a lot of work, a lot of effort. So you're working on two parallels. You're working on yourself, maintaining the sobriety, doing all the programs and all the 12 steps, and working with people, and at the same time doing my job. And so those two kind of went hand in hand. And Jim had asked me to go up to West Broward. I went up there and eventually took the property management over there, and then stayed up there for a couple of years, and then Jim moved me back here, and he put me over all the Broward properties. And so it's humbling, and it makes me feel great because he puts a lot of trust in what I've done, and that makes me feel good as a person. And I'd always worked for myself for many years, and I haven't worked for anybody until I started working for Jim for 28 years. So that was the change, but it was a good change. It's something I needed. I needed direction. I needed stability. I needed someone that held me accountable. All those pieces I needed, and I was willing to do it, and humbly willing to do it. And so I'm just grateful. And the thing that really, and Jim mentioned this a minute ago, is about housing, accountability, 12-step, mental health. All those pieces play a part in where I am today. And I've been involved in all those pieces in my personal life. I've been through the 12 steps with Celebrate Recovery. I'm going to start mentoring people and sponsoring people here in about 2 months. And I've finished the classes, and I got a big journey coming in about 3 to 4 weeks. I'm meeting with my family in Dallas, and I've reached out to them, and so I'm going to be restored back to my kids and back to my family and back to my grandkids. So it's been a journey, but I wasn't ready until now. It's been a lot of work, and but it's been great work and joyful work. And working for Investments Limited has been challenging. It's been great, and it's good to have someone like Jim on my side. It really is.
Jim, how does that make you feel?
It makes me feel like I want to do a lot more of it. That's what it makes me feel, and it makes me feel like it's all possible. And the giveaway programs, give them food, give them clothes, give them a cell phone, give them this. That's great, but it doesn't work. It really perpetuates them where they are. They need to see the bigger picture, that they can really get out of this, and they can do it themselves. They need coaching and mentoring, and I got to be there for them, for that journey, as I was with Don. But they can do this themselves. If we get them clean and sober, I want to let them know they got a path. I get them a job, and as soon as they get a job, within literally a few weeks, a month, they're off the street and they're renting their own room. And they're not dependent on any government agency. They're not dependent on me. They're on their own 2 feet as long as they can stay clean and sober. And I want to let them know that there's that path. And I'd like to see our program be all over the country. I'd like to see it be a national program, not just be in our South Florida area.
Because you can't go to any off-ramp. You can't go to any 7-Eleven. You can't go to any one of these quick marts, for that lack of a better word, right? And not see somebody outside panhandling for spare change or an off-ramp and, hey, I want dollars, I'm hungry, I need food, right? And I'm always, you're always kind of wondering, well, really? Because you always heard the stories that they walk around the corner and they get in a Mercedes-Benz and leave, right? Right, so you wonder who's really doing that, and is it gypsies trying to take you for just a few dollars, and they're really wealthy people trying to do it. You don't know who's really needs the money and who doesn't, and some people give the money and some people don't. And, you don't know which one it is. How do you discern who needs it and who doesn't?
Well, I don't give them things when they're panhandling. What we do is we give them opportunity. They have contact numbers. They have my business card with all my contacts on it. And I invite them to come to our program on Sunday, to come to church if they would like to. But after church, we have our homeless program. And we get to know them. We try to do a Social Security, a date of birth. We want to check their background. We have them fill out some forms. We give out a wonderful book called Wisdom to Know, which is for addicts. And I read it every day, but it helps you get through life. And we try to help them with their basic needs, take some interest and in their life. We want to become really their mentor, their friend. We want to show them that we care about them and we want them to get better. And then we give them the steps on how they can get better, get rid of the demons, and then getting the job. 99% of the population that wants to work is working. So there's plenty of opportunities. If you're standing here and you're not drunk and you're not on cocaine or marijuana, you can work and you can make $500 a week. And then you can afford to pay $500 a month for a room. And I make it simple, but I mean there is a program to it. I met a guy on the street on the beach today when I was out walking, and encouraged him to come to our program on Sunday, and we do that all the time.
That's great. Well, listen, thank you both for joining.
Yeah.
Congratulations to you.
Thank you
and
very
all the
much.
best in luck meeting your family and getting back reunited with them. That's a wonderful story, and I look forward to you just getting reunited with your family.
Wow.
And Jim, thank you for all you do for the
pleasure.
community.
My pleasure.
Thank you so much for joining us. We look forward to seeing you soon on the Boca Voice. Don't forget to watch us this week on Fact or Fiction Friday. Again, thank you. Look forward to seeing you soon.